Hello, everyone. I am Sophia Ring, SP Saturn the 7th, and you are watching Anime Egotists. Enjoy!
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where I don't think either one of us would get chosen to be a Jinchuriki.
No, they couldn't trust us with it.
Yeah. My name's Alex, and my infinite Tsukiyomi dream would be so bad that they would jump in and be like, you know what? No, we're done we're done with this plan. Leave village, you guys win.
Yeah, mine would probably just be me in a bed for a long time. And I'm Richard.
That's correct. And when it comes to Naruto, there are a lot of things that we love, a lot of things that we don't love nearly as much, and just a lot of stuff that when it comes to the Naruto fanbase, we actually would agree with.
Exactly. But today we're here to talk about hot takes.
Yeah, that's correct. Because look, as we all like to admit, we all like to think to ourselves that maybe there's something that we could have done differently, or something that we might not agree with as much as everybody else. Not always a bad thing though. So we're going to talk about it. Whether it's a character we like more than everyone else, a character we dislike more than anyone else, just anything that could go for a Naruto hot take. Would you like to start us off?
Okay. Um, so the first one I want to bring up is uh I view that Madara is weirdly too OP in the war arc. I know he's supposed to be especially the part I'm specifically talking about is when he's pretty much attacking one of the entire armies by himself. I know he's supposed to be one of the best shinobis of all time, and he's undead at this time, so he has like infinite chakra and all that. But it still feels like as an undead, they do have limitations, and then there's like 10,000 shinobi attacking him. There should be at least enough to overwhelm him in numbers. I can understand when he attacks the Kage. It's five of them. He's supposed to be from a generation that's stronger than everybody else. That part, for some reason, I'm okay with. It's specifically the part when it's like an entire army versus him. And I know other shinobi have supposedly done stuff like this, but it never. This is the part that always felt unrealistic. It's like eventually numbers should have an advantage.
Actually, I already disagree because I feel like the 1,000 people attacking him make and him beating them, it's like okay, we don't know a whole lot about these people, so I kind of get. But five of the strongest ninja in said village were supposed to be. Remember, Gar was able to beat the Mizukage, who was supposed to be incredibly powerful. Lady Mizukage is also powerful. So, if anything, that bothered me. Like, beating 1,000 no names, I'm like, okay, it's fine. It was actually kind of cool in some cases. Him beating all the five Kage is kind of where I start to go, maybe not so much.
Yeah, because I mean, since his time, and I can understand that too. But yeah, do you agree though that he does seem a little overpowered, like to the point where he easily beats all these people?
It is, but it's also a point I'm going to get into later. But somebody kind of pointed it as a phrase that kind of makes it so I don't hate it nearly as much. People say Madara is Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda, while the five Kage are the Furious Five, and Might Guy is Poe. So I'm like, all right, you compared it to the greatest movie of all time, so I guess I can find a way to live with it in that sense. But like I said, it's a point I'm gonna get to a little bit later, just on the nature of powers in Naruto. But I can definitely agree that he seemed a little stronger than he probably should have been.
Yeah, because I mean, even in the flashbacks we get, it's implied yes he's among the strongest, but he's not like necessarily always the person who was the strongest. Because you have Hashirama and all that. It's like okay, so there's always just something there that bothers me about Potter and his level of power,
Yeah,
especially at this point because he doesn't even have the 10 tails.
yeah, to an extent I can co-sign, but not necessarily on the five Kage thing, because that legitimately kind of upset me.
Yeah, because this the whole thing with that one is I always viewed it as he was super strong, and that this generation is just a little different. But I don't know why. For some reason, a whole bunch of numbers, and some of these are supposed to be Jonin level ninja. Some probably are low Kage level. That even though we don't know who they are, they're just randos from other villages. But some of them should be on the stronger side and should at least be able to put up a fight and last until other members of that same level can reach. So that's why I always was like a little what's going on here.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah.
All right. So your first hot take.
All right, I've talked about that. We talked about this one a couple weeks ago, so I'll start off relatively simple. But if you click away from this video, and while I'm saying this, it just proves I'm right.
Okay.
Sarutobi is overhated.
Yes.
Look, I'm not saying like Hiruzen Sarutobi is perfect. That would be ridiculous. But he did so much good for the village and the Naruto world himself that disregarding it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He protected the village. He stopped Orochimaru. He helped raise the Sanin, and he was a damn good teacher. Or did it completely work out? Not necessarily. But I guess what bothers me is why is it when he makes mistakes, everybody jumps on him? But when other characters make mistakes, they're just like, oh, well, you see, you just don't understand. Like, the characters are flawed. That's okay. But he did a lot for the village. Naruto has no ill will against him. And to the point where the episodes after he dies, he's still trying to cheer up Konohamaru and tell everybody the third Hokage was a good dude. Perfect? No. But he did a lot better than a lot of his haters tend to believe he did.
I will 100% co-sign. He almost everything he did in the mindset that he is doing it to save the lives of those that he views as his children and the rest of the Hidden Leaf, pretty much. It was there was always, I'm doing this to save somebody else. Did he make mistakes? Yes, but again, as you said, he's human. It's what happens.
Yeah, let's not let's not act like what's his face beforehand. Tobirama was the most compassionate person because no, he kind of wasn't.
Well, that kind of leads into my next one.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not like him leaving Naruto alone wasn't perfect. Him not stopping Orochimaru originally also not fantastic. But compared to all the other stuff he did and all the people he wanted to protect, I'm not gonna I can't stand for people just slandering him.
Exactly. And even to the end, he fought for the village no matter what. I mean, that's he died uh holding Orochimaru back because if he had just been killed by Orochimaru instantly, the Hidden Leaf village probably would have been completely wiped out because of Orochimaru probably would have been the strongest shinobi in the area at the time.
Especially considering he fought off two other Hokage as he was doing that. What like that's another thing when people say, "Oh, he's not that strong." I'm like, "What? What? That's completely not true." But people are allowed to be wrong. I guess it's fine.
There's a reason that his nickname is God of Shinobi.
Yeah, he would be the perfect person to learn under, in all honesty. But that's it. Once to the people who either agree or disagree, but are still willing to hear me out, I appreciate that. But just I don't know. It always just pisses me off when people just say he was just no redeeming qualities to him.
Exactly. So my next one, I kind of hinted at it. Tobirama is the worst Hokage. In my opinion, a lot of the issues that we see in the story, like what led to the Uchiha uprising and all that, came from Tobirama. So
Proceed.
it's stuff that he put in place, thinking he's doing what's right. While that is kind of an excuse for Hiruzen, it wasn't necessarily the same with Tobirama. Tobirama did not like the Uchiha, so he's like, okay, well, rather than give you something actually worthwhile where you can be a serious member, you're the police force. Now go stand over there. Uh, yes, he did. He wasn't completely hating against them because he did have a few in his squad and all that, but just he set up like shadow organizations, developed a lot of like the resurrection jutsu or whatever they call it. I forgot the actual term is, but it's a lot of the jutsus that he creates are like forbidden for a reason.
I'm
So
gonna make this
just
jutsu, and I'm the only one who's allowed to use it. What?
yeah, it just and the fact that it's like, I mean, oh, here's a jutsu where you make 1,000 clones of yourself. A normal person will die if they use it, but I still created it.
Okay, so I agree and disagree to an extent because on the one hand, yeah, I'm not going to act like most of the stuff in that sense that he did was good. On the other, he did come up with the idea of the tuning exams, not just for giggles, but he came up with it because he's like, I don't want unproven people in the battlefield. Not only will it not win us any wars, but we would just needlessly be losing lives. So in a sense, I kind of understand that to an extent. And not to, but to me, what the kind of struggle is when it comes to Hokage, how many of them were that good at their job?
Yeah, I mean, we really don't know what Hashirama really did as Hokage besides found the village, and that's it. And then fight with Madara. That's
Yeah,
kind of
because
all his stuff that we know about.
I've been kind of keeping up with some stuff in the manga, like Naruto. Like let's not act like Naruto's a great Hokage. He's not that good at his job, and I guess Shikamaru takes over afterward during like some intermittent stuff. He's not doing that fantastic either.
Yeah, and we all know Kakashi's just kind of a placeholder. Well, and he kind of always comes off as not wanting to be the one in charge. So I don't know how much he wants to. And then Tsunade probably gambled away most of the finances of the village. So who knows?
On a more serious note, Tsunade helped rebuild the village after a good amount of time. So with all the stuff that had gone down, and when she took over, she actually did a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, she's probably top one or two. It's just we don't know necessarily about everything. And Minato died so early on into his reign.
Yeah. Yeah, and Minato, I don't know how good of a Hokage he was, but a good sensei he was not. He was not a very good sensei.
I don't know. I We don't get enough of him to know. I know he kind of, I guess, instills the mindset in Kakashi that becomes Kakashi's mindset for training Team Seven. So
I mean, is that video we're gonna have to do? Is Minato a bad sensei? Because I don't know if we'll have as much to work with, but still think I could argue he was not fantastic.
yeah, I think Kakashi took it a bit more to an extreme than Minato did because I have a feeling Minato was at least there for Rin and Obito, but I still think he focused on Kakashi more than the other two.
Oh yeah, and that works out so well for every other sensei. And to be fair, he also told Kakashi, "Hey, why don't you join the Anbu? Because right now you're not doing so great. Joining the Anbu was one of the worst things for Kakashi." Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
I guess it's a kind of reverse for Heroes and for Tobirama. I feel like I don't feel like he was a good Hokage, but I feel like he's more bad than good. But there was some stuff where I'm like, okay, this I kind of understand this to an extent. But no, he's not that good of a Kage.
exactly.
Yeah, that side tangent, I do kind of notice that because to Hashirama, whether you love him as a Kage or hate him, was a kind, caring sweetheart. Tobirama was very much the opposite. Cold, calculating, still cared about people, but kind of scary. Hey, the first ever Mizukage was kind of a timid, shy, yet brilliant person, while the second one is a jovial weirdo without eyebrows. It's kind of weird how the Kage position kind of fluctuates in personality.
Yeah, how you can have somebody who's shows affection for every person in a village to the next person is like, okay, we're at war. I'm going to make sure that I have the best trained soldiers possible. And I,
It's not even
sorry, you're
necess- it's not even necessarily the worst strategy. It's just sometimes it works out better than others.
yeah. But as I said, a lot of what the main reason I have Tobirama as the worst is just because a lot of what his decisions as Hokage lead to the effects that we see in the main story. So
Yeah, but I can co-sign, but at the same time though, there's the Hokage position's been kind of tainted over the years. But that's another topic for another day.
yeah, we've got some discussion I think about Naruto to do.
Oh boy, oh I can't wait. My next one,
Go right ahead.
Naruto's filler was way too long, but it wasn't as bad as people make it out to be.
I can co-sign.
Okay, I'm not gonna act like the Curry of Life is this perfect cinematic masterpiece. But I do like how the filler splits up a lot of the characters. You see a good variety. You see Naruto with Team Guy, Naruto with Team Kuren with Team 8. Hey, you get a good mix of these characters, and it's not just them. It's also like there's a mission with Naruto, Ino, Shino, and Anko. I would never have picked them to be on a squad together because that just seems like the most random pair. But you see, and in these missions, you see people consistently using new jutsu and growing and changing. Hey, and some of the filler, I'd actually argue, is really good. I love the arc right after the Sasuke retrieval arc, where they're finding the Fuma clan and they're looking for Sasuke. Hey, the Pikachu Beetle stuff up until the very end is a really good
Mhm.
ending notwithstanding. Hey, there's an arc where where the whole Konoha 12 is running around trying to save the village from these explosions or whatever, and it's one of the best arcs I've seen in Naruto. I'm like, wow, this is actually really solid. Too much of it, yes. I'm not going to act like I was watching as a kid saying, "Oh, forget Sasuke, forget the Orochimaru and everybody else. I want to see I want to see what happens when Naruto and this ostrich are friends." But I feel like there's more good filler than people want to give it credit for.
I can 100% agree. Without it's like, okay, half these kids bullied Naruto when because their parents did. He They finally kind of started respecting him a little bit. Then he disappears for uh 2 years, and when he shows back up, everybody else in his year is now outranks him and has been doing their own training and stuff. Yes, he's been on his own special one with uh Jiraiya, but still, it's like, okay, welcome back, Naruto. Now get to work at the ground. Go catch that fox or pick herbs because you're a Genin still. We're going out on this escort mission now because what I would think would have happened if they hadn't had this sort of thing.
Yeah, and look, would I have loved a lot of these characters to get more stuff that actually mattered? Yes, but sometimes you just have to take you just have to take what you can get. Like I don't want to eat what you're putting on my plate, but if I'm starving, I'll do it.
But yeah, I wish there were, as you said, more stories that felt important or actually matter to the overarching plot.
Yeah. Now I'll never excuse the Shino's laughing episode. That was, but you gotta take the good with the bad. You have to take the bad with the good sometimes.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I remember so many because I remember there was like a prison boat one. So there's some really interesting ones. There's one where Kurenai tries to leave her team to go help a girl she tried to help a long time ago. There's a lot of interesting ones that expand, especially because they expand some of the jutsus.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The Kurenai one's the one I don't feel like I've ever seen all the way through. I feel like I go back and try, and we watch the first few episodes, and I get distracted. That's one I need to go back and really just look at.
Yeah. So yeah, again, some pretty good filler, especially for how much there is. There are some really bad ones, but the fact that it has as much good and entertaining episodes as it does bad is really impressive.
Yeah,
All right. So my next one.
sure.
So to me, a lot of the Akatsuki members felt underwhelming. Some are really cool and excellent, but I don't know. Some just felt like, okay, their gimmicks really just there. Okay, that's it.
I'm gonna need more specifics for that one.
God, I always forget their names, but it's the puppet guy. He has like really interesting, and it seems like it should be really overpowered with his like 100
Sasori.
puppet sorcery. Yeah. Um, but and he should be easily able to overwhelm what is it, Granny Chio and Sakura,
Yes.
and yet they still managed to defeat him. It's like he's supposed to be a rogue ninja that's like Kage level. Like that's what they build the Akatsuki up in the original arcs as is they're like they were in line to possibly be leaders in their village if they hadn't pretty much been psychopaths that went rogue.
All right.
Uh,
I guess for me, well, Sasori in particular is Granny Chio had known Sasori for years, and and it's puppet mastery. He got beat by somebody who was better than what he did than he did, which honestly kind of counter it. I at least appreciate that the Akatsuki all go down by different people. Like it's not Naruto beating all of them. In fact, Naruto, you could argue Naruto really doesn't beat any of them. He can't get his pretty little hands dirty.
True, but I don't know. It just feels like, and some do end up being that. As I said, I oh god, the guy with the hands on his or this mouth on his hands is for some
Datara.
reason Didra.
That's my boy.
Yeah, he manages to survive, which is kind of amazing throughout the entire thing, despite like losing his arm. He runs off and he dies in his own way by blowing himself up, which
And
is
Sasuke
hilarious.
survives thanks to plot armor.
Yep. But the other one is it Kakuzu is the guy with the four hearts.
Yeah. I hope you know. I hope you know who the Akatsuki are. You're starting to worry me.
I'm trying to remember the names. I can picture each one.
Yes,
Hidan is
that's
another one I really like, but Kakuzu, I don't know. It's just him being all about money and then like him talking about like, oh, once faced Madara when he attacked our village. It's like, okay, I would much rather see that fight now.
yeah. Though I guess the thing, Kakuzu's character kind of makes sense for me because he got screwed over because he faced the first Hokage, lost, and then got thrown out of his village. To me, the Akatsuki kind of all represent people who got screwed and are taking it out on the rest of the world. And while you can't necessarily condone most of their actions, it's kind of a more of a step of why the hell, like, are we sure the Akatsuki are the bad guys?
I mean, they really didn't start out that way, but
Well, we'll talk. Oh, we'll talk about that later. But I don't know. I can't fully co-sign because in all honesty, I think all of them dying kind of made sense because most of them did some pretty horrific stuff. Conan being the exception. I will never forgive how they did Conan because that I will fully admit that in some cases that might have just been bad writing.
but I don't know. It just felt like we got the occasional thing where it's like, oh, they got the two tails pinned up against the wall, having just stolen. I wanted more fights with them that made it feel like they're actually taking on uh, the different Jinchuriki, or they're going on these missions to fund their operations and stuff, and just and watching them be what are supposed to be these really badass, like super strong ninjas, and yet they okay. Oh, there's main cast. They killed one character. Okay, now they're off on their own.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like that was one of Shippuden's biggest problems. Like it kept jumping between who was the villain. Because if the Akatsuki had just stayed the villains all throughout it, I would have been perfectly happy.
Yeah, I mean, if it they could have still technically had the same goal. It's just it just revealed that Obito is like, okay, I've been manipulating these people to do it for me, kind of thing. You could still have it as Ikatsuki, but they still serve as like generals in that final army.
Yeah. There is an Akatsuki light novel that's out. I've read part of it. It's really, really good. Like you get to learn Datara and Sasori in particular. I'm like, oh wow, I like them a lot more than I thought I did.
Okay, so maybe the extra reading might help them more. Just
Yeah.
as I said, I think it's more of they needed more screen time dedicated to them and more feats to make me feel like they were perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I can somewhat understand, but I don't know if I can fully co-sign though.
Okay,
All right, so my next one.
go right ahead.
The Ultimate Ninja games are way too slept on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting this list off very positively, which is gonna suck towards the end. But but look, I know Storm is what everybody talks about, but the Ultimate Ninja games that preceded them were really, really interesting. Hey, the combat did not start off great, but I do love how each game kind of got better with it. It followed the story a little more while still having some non-canon element. The gameplay got a lot better, and there was even some side missions that got interesting. Like, for example, if Naruto talks to Kakashi and helps him with a mission, Kakashi will finally teach Naruto the Chidori, and he could use it in fights.
Interesting.
Yeah. It gets kind of weird because now everybody can use it, and seeing Rock Lee throw a Chidori kind of just destroys the whole lore of his character, but it's a video game. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, I like that idea. It kind of reminds me of the Uzumaki Chronicles, where you could unlock like more advanced jutsus by like doing certain missions on the missions. Put it a
Yeah,
different
the
way.
only exception is Ultimate Ninja didn't have the mission of, oh, transport these criminals back, but you'll still get jumped by other criminals. I'm like, I hate this so much. Look, I understand that this is probably a real mission, but I can't keep doing this. This is horrible.
But yeah, I need to get a new Naruto game. Don't have any. Uh, I think want one that's more of a unique story, or at least more unique than okay, play the story mode that tells the entire story of Naruto and Shippuden.
Yeah. Like it. Ultimate Ninja 3 had two story modes. Also, Ultimate Ninja 3 being the best Naruto game ever. Until they make the one we've been talking about for years. But one story mode is, hey, this is what happened in the original story of Naruto. And then the second one is, this is what happens. Like, Tsunade's the Hokage, Rock Lee is healed, the Sand Ninja are cool, and Sasuke has not left the village. And it's like, okay, we're gonna have this competition to foster relationships through other villages. We're gonna have a tournament, and whoever wins the most matches gets to make a decree of their own. And it gets silly because Kiba will say stuff like, "Oh, I want people to get their pets checked up on more often." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense." And Shino's is insect protection. All right, that's also fine. Naruto's is I want to be Hokage for like a week or something. It happens to be like a week. It's like okay, that's not really doable, but we can try. And then you have others when it's like Rock Lee's like, what are we gonna Rock Lee, what's gonna be your degree? It's like for everyone to have bushy eyebrows like Guy Sensei. I'm like, the biggest flaw of this game is I can't play as Rock Lee and just have that stick for the rest of the game.
Let me guess, like Sakura's is everybody has to become Sasuke, or Sasuke has to love her or something.
I don't think she ever says it. I think she starts blushing about it, and Naruto just walks off because he's like, "No, I don't think I'm going to want to hear this." And I'm like, Naruto, you did the right thing.
Yeah, yeah, okay. It sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know if I ever played that part. I know I played some of these games, or
Yeah.
how many were there? I'm trying to remember. It's been
I want to say there were like five on the PS2, like three or like four on the PSP. Even I haven't played all of them, but I played enough of them to where I'm like, why is nobody talking about these games? Some of the coolest techniques in the Naruto verse are in these games.
okay. Yeah, I'll co-sign. I need to play more Naruto games. I've only played like the Storm games and a little bit, and Uzumaki Chronicles that were kind of the only, and when it first came out, Shinobi Strikers, but that was it.
Yeah, well, next time you guys come over, we're gonna have to play the Ultimate Ninja games just so I can show you some of the cool stuff, but also just how ridiculous the game can get sometimes.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, but that's it for me.
All right. So this is a very specific one, but I think you're gonna kind of agree with me on this.
Okay.
Conan should have survived and kind of entered the war as like with the Hidden Rain Village kind of as their new leader.
Agreed.
I kind of have it like almost like she makes the Hidden Rain Village the sixth great village or something. Like the war ends and she is the sixth Hokage or sixth Kage. It's like enough to where like they respect her enough to bring her in. I think, and she pretty much, I had it pretty much. She completes their goals, the original goals of the Akatsuki. She's freed her village. She's made it strong so that it can defend itself, and uh, did it in the name of pretty much her two best friends.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially with all the time that they spent in the Rain Village with everything going on when Jiraiya raised them and then left them behind because he couldn't bring them to Konoha, I guess. Well, so Hiruzen gets a bad rep for that, but nah, never mind.
But the difference, I guess, is Jiraiya at least trained them, but it's like
Didn't Jiraiya also peep on women and perv on Naruto when he was 12?
yeah, and he also apparently didn't train them enough to teach them that that guy over there, he that almost killed me and my two best friends when we were battling him. Yeah, don't like pick a fight with him. He's gonna kill y'all.
Yeah, that being said, I do agree, especially because when we learned that the Hidden Rain Village has fallen into even worse disarray, and Naruto's just kind of like, eh, like I don't know. It makes Naruto come off not necessarily a worse Kage, but kind of a worse friend because Konan was. Look, she was part of the bad guys, but she did out of all the Akatsuki, you could argue that she was one of the better people of the Akatsuki. So especially seeing her go out the way she did, which I'll never forgive, for me it sucked.
Yeah, I know it didn't happen, but I always kind of hoped that we would get something showing like she retrieved Jiraiya's body and gave him a proper burial, like kind of hating what Nagato's become, but also but not feeling like she can speak up because she also has some anger issues from it and all that. I
Yeah,
don't know. There's just a lot.
I could see her putting a bouquet of flowers on the grave she makes.
Yeah. So just something or at least like turning his card or something.
Something like that. Heck, in the Rock Lee show, the Akatsuki are still alive, and it's even somewhat implied she knows who Rock Lee is, and she still gives him flowers, and then she turns Tsundere and goes, "Whatever. It's not like I want you to be in the Akatsuki anyway." I'm like, "Okay, Konan, you're sending some mixed message." Chibi Tsundere Konan is not something I thought I needed, but I'm not arguing against it.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
I just think she could have been really interesting in an extra like force that just randomly shows up during the war.
yeah, I like she probably deserved to live the most out of everybody, and that's me saying Itachi and Kisame are like in my top five of favorite characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But oh boy, I've been very positive. Should I get to one of my more negative ones?
Yeah, right before honorable mentions. Yeah, it's right
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
time.
Okay, so this doesn't apply specifically to Naruto. It applies to a lot of other anime and series in general. But I've noticed Naruto doesn't get called out for it nearly as much as it probably should. Characters getting more development doesn't necessarily make them better.
Okay.
Like we talked about before, whether you love Sasuke or hate him, Naruto was very dedicated to him, and their relationship is a large part of the series. But after everything Sasuke's done, and I understand people who are like, I don't like Naruto as much anymore because their dynamic gets too much focus on Sasuke as a bad person. Look, we've oh boy. Hey, there are like we've kind of talked about Orochimaru in a sense, and there are times where it kind of feels like with the whole him and Kabuto thing, like sometimes maybe Kabuto might be a double agent, might not be that bad. Oh wait, no, he's still working with Orochimaru. Oh wait, no, like how in some cases characters can flip-flop too much. And I understand to some extent that you're giving more dimension and intrigue to these characters. But sometimes you can overcomplicate the process. As much as I've said before that sometimes characters need more to work with, Naruto characters in particular at times get way too much to the point where I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to believe anymore.
Yeah, the other example I almost have of this, and I think they only do it just enough that if they did it anymore, I probably would have gotten annoyed about it. Was Shikamaru leading into and after Asuma's death because they focus so much on him. Yes, we get Choji and Ino crying and wanting to be a part of that, but it's like, okay, we're all focused on Shikamaru right now. And it's like, if they did it even a little bit more, it feels like it would be too much. They wouldn't have any time to focus on Ino and Choji's reaction at all.
Yeah. And speaking of Shikamaru, another example that we've talked about before, Naruto grew up as a friendless kid who had nobody really looking after him. But then when it gets revealed, it's like we've talked about. Oh, you're the reincarnation of the Sage of Six Paths. Oh, you're the Nine Tails is the strongest of the not is the strongest tailed beast. Oh, the Uzumakis have all this stuff. And the one that kind of irks me is the one that's like, oh, Shikamaru and Choji were actually nice to Naruto. I'm like, oh, well, then why weren't they hanging out more often in the series? Does it make them more likable? Absolutely. But at the same time, I'm thinking if they liked him or even were cool with him when they were younger, why didn't he hang out with them on a more regular basis? It feels unnecessary.
Yeah, I could make. I almost want it to be that they were just the ones that didn't treat him badly. They didn't want to hang out with him, but they didn't treat him badly. But the way they show it, at least in the I think it's mostly filler parts of the anime. Maybe it's in the manga, but I just don't know. Is that they played games with Naruto and hung out with him, and it's like, well, that contradicts the first part. And I know retconning and all that, but it's like, I don't know. I can agree. They get
Yes.
it's like just a step too much almost.
Yeah, especially in the original series, because remember it shows Kiba's alongside them because they were all kind of the troublemakers of the group. But then when Kiba goes up against Naruto in the Chunin exams, he's like, "Oh, this is going to be easy." I'm like, the way you guys acted when you were like toddlers, you seemed kind of cool with each other. Why, Kiba? Why are you being such a dick?"
Yeah, and then we get like Kiba with the flashback of him racing Naruto and then Naruto finally beating him, but then like, oh, now we're teenagers. This is Naruto ran this when he was like 10, still in the academy, and then now you ran it and you beat him by like a second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he now has like his father's abilities in like 2 weeks and is going to be able to jump here in a second. So yeah, you've lost.
Yeah, and to me, I think that I'm trying not to speak for you, but I feel like in a way, like correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like in a sense that's why Asuma is a character that you really like because we don't learn the most about him, but he's a relatively simple character, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like we know who he is, and who he is a pretty cool guy.
Exactly. He's developed enough that you like him. You get that sort of development. And looking back on it, it's kind of you should know that because don't we find out that Kurenai's pregnant before they go out on their mission to hunt the Akatsuki? Or is that right
I
after?
believe so, but they're dynamic. They've been built up enough that it shouldn't completely surprise you one way or the other.
Well, no, but her being like revealed to be pregnant right here is kind of one of those like, oh, that probably now that I think about it, it's like that's kind of makes it obvious that he's about to die.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he don't has a thing for single moms, so he's just like, huh, I don't know any single moms, but I can make a single mom. Stand still.
It's okay. Somebody else from his religion will attack their daughter in like 20 years.
I don't know how I feel like I shouldn't like that, but I do kind of like how it kind of keeps. I mean, never mind. My point being that I that sometimes doing too much with the character can ruin them. Sometimes some of my favorite characters are just simple people where it's like, oh, do they get a lot to work with? No, but they're not overly complicated.
Yeah, I could almost see Ten is another one that's like when we get her uh extended dream sequence, it's like it becomes too much very quickly. It's like she's not a fun character to follow. It's like there's a reason that she doesn't get the development, and that's because there's not much there to develop, I think, unfortunately. I mean, maybe there could be if they had more time, but
Yeah, well, she's at least the most. I've said it. I don't say this ironically. She is at her best in the Rock Lee show. I don't mean that as a joke. I don't mean that as a stand for the Rock Lee show. I legitimately mean this is the best she's written. That's not exactly a high bar though.
yeah. And yeah, I would say that's probably best is that she's there and she's a main character, gets to be a main character in this part of the story.
Yeah, and she's running a failed weapons shop. But yeah, sometimes Naruto in particular does too much with his characters, kind of to a detriment.
Yeah. All right. Honorable mentions time.
Yes.
All right. So I put summoning, in my opinion, is like the most underused technique.
I thought that's one of my backups.
Okay. I it's pretty much like I'm trying to think of how to put it. You have to be like a Sanin or some other village's super strong person to have these giant like legendary summons. It's like Kakashi's the Hokage and his summon is a pack of dogs, which is cool, but it feels like he should be able to summon like this big massive dog or something like as well. I don't know. It feels like more people should have like these like overpowered summonings. Um like I could see like Shino having a bug that he summons because he can't keep it in his body. It's too big.
Okay, first of all, are we just not going to talk about the phrasing of that? But okay. Hey, okay, but in all seriousness, Shino does have a summoning, actually. It's revealed in the Bakochu Beetle arc. He goes insect summoning and just summons a bunch of insects that are in the forest. I'm like, Shino, why is your summoning the lamest part of your arsenal? What? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just and something to me was always one of my favorites. I wanted more from it. I would have put Genjutsu, but the Sharingan has it so much that it's like, okay, it's in the story enough that summoning we need more like really cool summonings, I think.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, like, I'm okay with smaller scale summons. Like, there are generic ninja hounds that apparently people are able to summon, and I think that's kind of cool to an extent. But you're telling, and I understand it wouldn't have worked thematically, but you're telling me, like, if, like, in some cases, if Naruto and Sasuke had gone up against each other in the final valley, Naruto would have been like, "Oh, Gamma, oh, Boss Toad." I understand it
And
wouldn't.
Kakashi or and Sasuke's dead. He got
Yeah,
crushed by the giant
but
toad.
in all seriousness, like I do agree in the sense of it's like, man, this should be the coolest thing ever. Like I said, there's a giant clam that the second Mizukage summons that breathes a genjutsu, and the only way to stop it is to kill said clam, which I don't know how many people are killing giant clams, but I'll warn you, it's not easy.
Yeah, there's I don't know. It just feels like it's so underutilized, and I want more from it.
Yes. I can definitely co-sign. I'm sorry, Shino. I didn't mean to like throw you under the bus just there, but like that looked. But I got so excited when he's like insect summoning. I'm like, oh, is he gonna summon like a giant ant beetle because he senses people? I was just like, oh no, just a couple of like larvae and other stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's not even summoning. It's just him like he's probably just making a random noise or something to summon them to him.
Yeah, and I'm not saying everybody should have had a summon because that would have been a little too ridiculous, but yeah, I do agree, especially because it feels like the amount of summoning animals didn't even feel like we had that many.
Yeah, there's tons of other animals, especially I mean some filler arcs I remember having summons that were kind of I mean they weren't the strongest, but they were kind of cool to see if I remember
Yeah,
correctly. So just more people in the main story having something summoned, even if it's like weapon summoning and they summon some like an actual really cool weapon to their arsenal. Kind of like what Ten does with their scrolls, but just somebody actually summons like a sword that they don't carry around all the time.
I still will argue that the salamander that breathes poison is one of the coldest things. I'm just like, oh, he's dead. Oh, well, wait, is he dead? Actually, we're still not sure. Oh, does it have any kin or no? All right, we'll figure it out. Never.
Yeah, and they always had fun personalities as well, the ones that we get to know about. So I was just like, more of them would be also
Yeah.
fun.
Ironically, except a giant clam because it doesn't talk and it hurts. It attacks everybody except the person who summons it. So probably a red flag, but we'll figure that out.
It's just an area of effect damage.
My God. All right, so next one.
Go right ahead.
I know you're gonna. We've had conversations about this before, and I know you're not the. You don't necessarily agree, but it's a talking point, so I kind of want to address it.
Okay.
Orochimaru's redemption makes sense, sort of.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Here, at least hear me. I'm not
Okay.
necessarily defending it, but I'm explaining it. There's a difference.
Okay.
Okay, so Orochimaru felt the death of his parents. Who his parents were, we still don't know. Oh, but he, in the sense of he's trying to find immortality to learn more, and he also wants to learn more to get immortality. Because in a sense, maybe you could argue in the beginning he wanted it for everybody because he felt guilty over not being able to save Tsunade's little brother because he was Tsunade's little brother, Tsunade's fiance. Hey, yep, no, he did not go about 99% of his life the right way. Hey, but then when he gets his white Zetsu body, he kind of gets his immortality to the point where he's like, huh, well, the bad guys probably can stop me, and the good guys have my best interest. So in a sense, he's kind of won. He's gotten exactly what he's wanted. So him being twisted and evil in a sense, maybe he realizes that's not what it needs to be. Does that explain it? Yes. Does that mean I like it? No.
Yeah, no, I don't know. This is one that I always feel like he should. It, the story should end with him just in prison. He shouldn't be allowed to have. Okay, go stand in this like research. Is it now safer because he's not trying to experiment on every person that he sees that has something slightly unique about them? No, it's like okay, no, he congratulations, you're now locked in a cell for the rest of your life because you've killed hundreds of people, made orphans specifically so you could experiment on said orphans, only to have most of them die, traumatize the other one into joining the guy who's funding all of this. It's like, okay, he's done a lot of
Oh,
really,
oh,
really bad stuff.
oh, I completely agree. I'm not defending that. I'm not the guy's lawyer. Well, I didn't go to law school. I didn't go to law school. Well, but at the same time, I guess my philosophy is I don't necessarily think it came out of nowhere. I don't think it's good, but I don't think it necessarily came out of nowhere because it's in the sense of, huh, I got everything I wanted. Okay.
Imagine if at the end of the story, Orochimaru returns to becoming the big bad, and it's just like the Akatsuki do all this, and it's him, and he kills Madara, and it's like, thank you. I've now got Rinnegan, Sharingan, and I'm a Jinchuriki, and now I'm the big bad of everything. It was me all along.
At that point, I'd be like, okay, does anybody else want to admit they're a villain? Or is Tiger Mitsuki gonna come out and be like, no, I'm the bad guy? No, I'm like, I am. You know what? Forget it. No, no, no. Put me in the Infinite Tsukiyomi because it's better than whatever we have going on. No,
Well,
my next hot take is not going to be defending Tiger Mitsuki. I don't know if you like Tiger Mitsuki, respect to you, I guess. But like, also, I don't maybe make sure what you're drinking isn't like bleach or something. Just let me know.
yeah, no, I'm okay.
No, but look, it's more of a talking point than it is me legitimately defending it. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying I would have done the same thing, but let people think it makes 0 sense. I could argue it makes 10%, but 10%, I'm not really willing to go any further than that.
Okay, I get. I can probably co-sign to that. Is that there are parts of it that kind of make sense. They it makes one of the most redeeming parts of Boruto, from my understanding, in Mitsuki. So
I do still, I don't fully understand how the hell you create something like Mitsuki or how that would even work. Like, in this Naruto game, you can play as like a Mitsuki clone or something like that and customize them. Like, how the hell do you? Somebody with more time and money can work on that, but otherwise, I wouldn't know what to do there.
all right. So my next honorable mention.
Sure.
This one I don't think we need to talk about. It's just there. It's the normal one that everybody talks about, and that's why it's an honorable mention. Sakura isn't a good character, but she doesn't deserve all the hate she gets.
Depends on what type of hate you're talking about.
Uh, that she's 100% useless. Everybody said the pretty much the old argument that she's useless. She's not useless. She's just not a good character.
If you think Sakura sucks because you think she doesn't do anything and she's not that strong, I can't co-sign. But if you hate Sakura because you find her to be an annoying, toxic person who gets on your nerves, I will co-sign onto that because I'm right there.
That's pretty much what I mean. Is yes, she becomes one of, if not the best medical ninja jutsu user in the world at the end of the series. She's got super strong, so she has combat effectiveness. She's able to land a punch on the big bad at the end in Kaguya to allow Naruto and Sasuke to seal her away. She's not useless. It's just she doesn't have a good personality. Her choices make little to no sense when she's like, "Oh, I love you, Naruto," just so that he stops going after Sasuke for her, so that she can turn around and go get killed by him. I think
And also the whole, the day is saved. Hey Sasuke, while you're redeeming yourself, I want to come with you. Why? Why? Hey, but I put it to you. This is the easiest way to put it for me personally. Who's stronger, Sakura or Kiba? Sakura. Who would I rather hang out with? Kiba.
exactly.
All right. Hey, since you did the quick one, can I do the quick one I've been alluding to?
Go right ahead.
No, too many characters lacked weaknesses.
Yes,
Naruto can heal himself. The Eight Gates didn't kill Guy, as much as I love Guy. Hey, the Sharingan has weaknesses to an extent, but they don't seem to matter all that much. Want to know what I love about the Hozuki clan? They are weak to electricity. They get zapped once and they are out, which is what makes their fights that much more strategic. If people have weaknesses, it makes things interesting. But a lot of the characters, especially down the end of the line, just sort of felt like, oh, I hate you with my strongest attack. Like, oh, well, I have this healing factor that yeah.
they become almost godlike at the end of the series, and it's like, no, let's have like there has to be some sort of weakness that uh like imagine if okay, you infuse Hashirama cells, well that causes you to have a strong weakness to fire or something because he's wood. It's like everybody needs some sort of kryptonite. It's Superman. It's a Superman problem. You have to give them something that can cause them to be mortal.
Well, I did hear about a girl who punches devils with the power of courage. Maybe if she was in this show, it might have worked out.
Maybe.
Maka's just like courage, courage, courage. No, it's not even the same speech. It's just courage. I'm like, okay, we're done. I'm going home.
I just picture JoJo's with her. It's courage, 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 courage.
I need that. I need that animation tomorrow. Will I pay anybody for it? I mean, probably because it's better than the AI. But still, like I said, I want it to be quick because the lack of weakness has kind of made the show fall off for me in some areas.
Yeah, yeah. Especially at the end. That's when it gets really bad.
Yeah, I love you, Might Guy, but that didn't make a whole lot of sense. But at least he lost his legs, so you know.
Yeah. All right. Um, so my last honorable mention is one we kind of talked about a little bit before. Um, the forbidden jutsus are known to way too many people. It's like here's a scroll of all the jutsus that we are not allowed to use. Okay, Naruto knows that. Kakashi, I'm guessing, copies it from him, but maybe he knew it beforehand. Minato used some of them. It's like a whole bunch of people see, and then it's like other villages. Oh, this is my forbidden technique that I had from my village. It's like it's okay, it's forbidden. So based on that terminology, that means that the village should be arresting you for using this technique, right?
Furthermore, how the hell was it Naruto who didn't even pass the Genin in promotion exam, just able to sneak past, get some Chunin and Jonin, and be like, "Hey, I have to scroll now." It's like, "Oh, how could we? Oh, Naruto should be dealt with." I'm like, "Yeah, he should be, and all of you should be fired because you all suck at life."
Seriously. I just picture that he was looking at the scroll, and if he had just scrolled it out a little bit more, it would have been like Minato's notes on top of Tobirama's to like how he improved like the flying Raijin so that he could use it like as effectively as he did or something. It's like,
Yoink! The fight between him and Gar would have been very different if that was the case.
yeah. Just imagine if Naruto had actually learned more than just that, like that technique. The ones like we learned later, it's like, oh, I can resurrect my parents.
It's like, don't you need two bodies for that? Yeah, I took the two of the Jonin who I got past. They weren't using them there, but they weren't using them anymore.
Yeah. Imagine how dark Naruto could have been if that was the story of Naruto and his zombified parents are running around.
Orochimaru's like, okay, clearly, okay. I haven't even been introduced, and I'm terrified by this. You know what? Just leave me out of it.
But yeah, just ever too many things get called forbidden techniques and then get shown, and some of it's filler, I know, but get shown known by other members of the villages. So
Tiger Mitsuki shows up. It's like, hey, who wants to learn my technique of turning into a tiger? Nobody. Literally nobody.
yeah, because it literally pretty much turns you into a corpse.
Yeah, I can co-sign though. It's not something that ruins the series for me, but it is something that kind of just makes me laugh at how ridiculous it is.
Yeah. So again, more jutsus should be considered like S level or something. They should have enough like things below that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So your last honorable mention?
Ah, dang. I'm stuck between two honorable mentions. I can't. I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give this woman some love because we kind of haven't. Low key, Kurenai is a really good sensei.
I can co-sign.
All right, so let's think about this. Like, she was not dealt the best hand. She was a Genjutsu master was dealt with a Hyuga with no self confidence, and an Inuzuka member and his dog, and a bug master. She didn't teach them any genjutsu as far as we know. Maybe we're missing something, but she did cater to all of their needs. When Kiba gets beaten by Naruto, by him farting in his face, she emphasized in her head, "Hey, Kiba has nothing to be ashamed of. It's just that's just how good Naruto was. She pushes Hinata towards getting to being more open with Naruto and the idea that she can be getting better. When the Hyugas pretty much disown her, Kurenai is the person who's always by her side, who gives her that confidence. It's not to like, Shino, admittedly, is just hand-to-hand combat, but well, that's filler only. But considering that they're always by her side, that they always say, "Oh, let's go see Kurenai Sensei and her baby," or "Hey, let's go see." I don't know. She had more of a positive impact on their lives, even if she wasn't the most showcased.
Yeah, I can agree. Kurenai was very much probably the best because again, she puts together an amazing team overall and really does make them stronger both as a team and kind of makes them like, okay, if I need to track somebody, I'm calling this team.
Yeah, yeah. She's not. I'm not trying to say that. Like, I don't even necessarily know if I'd say she's the best sensei, but I think in terms of the four set of Asuma, Guy, Kurenai, and Kakashi, we've talked about before. She's not. Well, she's not last. That's for sure.
Yeah. I she's probably the best at well, her and Asuma are probably the two
I,
best out of them.
you know, I'm always going to argue Guy.
The only thing with Guy is that I think he doesn't have it to the same extent as Kakashi. He has it at but he's more along the lines of he favors Lee more than the other two. I think he he supports Neji enough, but he really does nothing for 1010. He doesn't get, like find her a sensei. He encourages her, but he doesn't even find her a sensei that can teach her what she needs to know.
Does isn't he also? But he also uses. It's actually revealed in some other like you have to do some research for it. That Might Guy is also pretty damn good when it comes to weapons. Like he'll use nunchucks and other stuff. Not saying to be fair, it's not like he gave up on Tenten. He tried his hardest, and even when it came to Neji, it was a case of hey, I can't teach you any gentle fist stuff because there's nobody in the Leaf Village who can teach him gentle fist stuff, apparently. But he does. It's not. It's more along the lines of, hey, I'm going to help Tenten and Lee's confidence, and Neji get over what he's doing. Doing. You don't have to. And that's kind of the same with Kurenai. Technique wise, not a whole lot, but she was an emotional support that all of the gang needed, and I feel like for as little screen time as she got, she still did a lot for them.
Yeah, and it's I wish she had a little bit more just to give her like she's one of the few that's like she needs just a tiny bit more to like show just how good she was at genjutsu because she's a Jonin for a reason and it's implied that she's like not I mean the Uchiha are like the only ones better at it in the village than her.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm not saying like I said, that's for that reason I still don't say she's the best sensei, but I do think in a sense, if you were stuck with her as a sensei, you could do a whole lot worse.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right, should we move on because yeah, I'm starting to notice some stuff in the background.
Yeah, sorry about that. Um so uh my final one, it annoys the heck out of me that Naruto didn't learn any wind type jutsus in the main story. Especially, it's like okay, he should have to learn like some form of basic wind jutsu technique before he goes and develops this S rank that becomes a forbidden jutsu because it pretty much is going to kill him if he keeps using it.
Do you know who his sensei was who probably could have helped with that?
Kakashi, who was there for at least the start of that at this time.
Yeah, and especially considering he's copied over 1,000 jutsu. But no, I do agree. It makes Naruto kind of a one-trick pony in the sense of just like, okay, Rasengan, Shadow Clones. What else does he have?
Wind style wrestling Shuriken.
Yeah, yeah. It gets the look, and I've jumped on the Hyuga clan before because it feels like, oh, they know Gentle Fist, but they don't use any other elemental based attacks. But at least it's specific to them. Like it makes sense because it's part of their lore and history. But Naruto refusing to learn other jutsu kind of just I can understand the frustration.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It feels like okay, he needs to learn how to send a wave of air like as sharp as a blade or something is something that he could be able to do, and that he has all these extra like little abilities and stuff that just because it's like other people have like if you know uh or there's certain techniques that become standard. If you know if you're an earth style user, you know mud wall. It's like the most common jutsu in the entire universe.
Yeah, same for the fireball jutsu, even though it's like, oh, the Uchiha are the ones who know that. It's just like it feels like anybody could really use it, but sure, okay.
Yeah, so it's like maybe like wind style scythe blade or something is the main air attack. It just sends a
I love
blade
that
of
name.
air that or something, and it's just everybody know if that's the one you learn if you're an wind style chakra user. So he just
Yeah,
something like that.
and the thing is, they do this thing where it's like, you hold up this piece of paper. Depending on how it reacts, that's what your that's what your nature release is. You're telling me the second that happens, you aren't like, okay, let's see. Okay, you guys go over here, learn fire. You learn water. It just seems like it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know fully know who's to blame for this. Is it like college where it's like, well, you're the one who needs to learn it, you go search it out? I'm like, that's not always how that works, but that how that should be working, but okay.
You're the teacher. Teach me how to do it.
Yeah, I can't imagine performance reviews at the Ninja Academy go great outside of Iruka.
Yeah, I find it a little weird. It's like because you brought up a good point. It's like Kakashi sends Naruto to find Asuma to teach him the basics of wind style, or yeah, wind style. Uh, and it's like, but you're the copy ninja, and you we know at this point you have access to all of them. You should be able to teach the basics.
Yeah, we did that video about whether Kakashi or not is a bad sensei. It's starting to look like you're coming over to my side.
Yeah, yeah, I'm losing faith in him more and more,
Hey! If it makes you feel any better, that conversation we had, that video did really well. So in a way, it worked out.
especially because you're converting me to your side on that.
Well, that and like a lot of people in the comments were like, "Wow, actually, Alex is right. He's terrible." But there were people like, "I don't think so. I think Richard might have a point. I don't think Kakashi's that bad." I'm like, "Oh, wow." No one's screaming and biting each other's heads off. We're having spirited conversation. Let's do more of these.
Yeah, I don't know, because I almost put Kakashi isn't as bad a sensei as people make him out to be, but the more I thought about it, it's like, no, I can't put that anymore as a hot take. I don't know anymore how I feel.
To be fair, him being a bad sensei does not make him a bad character. He's still an excellent character. He has a flaw. That's what makes him compelling.
Yeah, he makes his decision and it's not the right one when it comes to how he teaches.
Yeah, getting back to it though, that is something that's always bothered me. How it's just like, oh, everybody had okay, Richard, you have fire style, Alice, you have water style. Figure it out for yourselves. What?
Here's the it's like, okay, teach me the first like two techniques that everybody's gonna know, and then let me discover if I have a true affinity for certain ways of using it after that. But at least give me something that I can use.
No. Okay then. They need to they need to up the performance reviews at that academy. I can't even fully blame Kakashi for that one because I don't know.
All right. So what's your last one?
Oh no, this is not good. This if anybody who's still around, I am sorry. Madara's plan is too stupid for me to like him.
Like how convoluted it is. I'm gonna plant my eyes in
Yeah,
this toddler
yeah,
and
everything. Hey, the whole trusting Obito thing, the whole being brought back, heck, the whole everything about Madara's plan relies on somebody else, and it relies on somebody else in a specific headset. Like let's not act like Obito liked Madara. He worked with him, but he didn't like Madara really at all. So hypothetically, what would have happened if Kakashi had found Obito? They talked it out because let's be honest, convincing Obito on Naruto's part was a little on the easy side, and just decided, you know what? I'm gonna come back to the Leaf Village. Kakashi, you and I are cool. Madara, deal with it yourself.
oh wait, you're
There's
dead.
yeah, and it's just like, oh well, if I get resurrected, then I get all my powers back. I'm like, wait, how does that work? Oh, because I have this other plan. I'm like, like there's so much about Madara's plans that rely on that it's just so convoluted down to the last letter. And we've talked before. I don't like the idea of somebody saying, "Oh, this was all part of my master plan," like all these 100 different steps, unless it's really well done. But Madara is one of the smartest characters when it comes to fighting, but when it comes to actual plans outside the battle, his stuff is too, it makes everybody else, it makes him look more lucky than it does make him look good.
I mean, and the part of the plan that always bugs the crap out of me is I finally developed my Renegon. I'm going to implant it in this baby and send him to pretty much the sticks where he'll be raised and become. I know that there's going to be a war that's going to affect his village, so he's going to become a war orphan and all this stuff. It's like, but what happens if, as a kid, that he wakens these eyes and they turn around and think he's some sort of monster and kill him or stab the eyes or something and destroy him before your plan comes to fruition? Because you've sent him to the middle of nowhere, pretty much, that doesn't fully understand what's going on.
Yeah, and it also doesn't make him look good because when Hashirama gets reincarnated, he's like, Madara, I'll deal with you later. I'm like, wow, your ex-boyfriend doesn't even care that you exist. He's just like, nah, I'm done. I've moved on from you at this point. And it is funny to see Madara's reaction, like, huh? Well, like all this stuff. But it's so stupid, and it's at the point where I'm like, look, I hate the part where he gets backshotted by Zetsu and turns into Kage. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, low key with his intelligence, it makes a little bit of sense, even if I hate it.
Yeah, it's like, the people that he puts his trust in are all criminals who are doing this for their own gain. So I'm like, yeah, they're just as likely to betray you if they feel that their goals no longer match yours. And some of them have abilities, especially like if while you're not alive, that if they can cause an issue, your plan's gonna fall apart.
Yeah, especially the whole I'm gonna gain all my powers back. Look, which I understand you had to do that to be strong, for him to be strong, but also just one of those things where it's like you just got lucky and it kind of makes the story less interesting. Even though hilarious, him walking an old, frail, decrepit Madara smacking people upside the head with his cane would be hilarious. It's just, it doesn't work, especially. Okay, can you help me understand what his philosophy was, why he was doing what he was doing?
Um, no, no, I cannot
Yeah,
because it's not implied that he's doing it because he got turned down by the rest of the Leaf to become the first Hokage. It's like even his own clan voted against him, from what they kind of hint at.
Yeah, I guess for me, look, I've said before and I'll say it again. I like simple characters in a sense. You can have villain like Persona 5 does a great job of having villains who are bad people and you just want them gone. But it was just kind of weird. Like Madara's like power. I need power. It's like I don't. Pain wasn't a good person per se, but his philosophy was I'm going to make everybody suffer because I suffered, and then no one will want to make each other suffer anymore. I understand that in a twisted sort of way, but Madara's just like doesn't seem to have that. And as badass as Madara can be at times, there are times where I'm just like, how did you get as far as you did?
Yeah, I can agree to this because now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, what was his ultimate goal? Was it just so that he could be the only person on Earth because he hated people now? I mean, I can
Okay,
agree with that then.
I was about to say if that was his line of logic, I'd be like, all right, I'm on his side. I'm on his side now. Like now you're making a solid argument. But I don't know. Madara's one of those characters to where if you love Madara, I'm sorry for this conversation, but to me, he's so stupid that kind of makes me go, no, no.
It's like, okay, Infinite Tsukuyomi, what's happening? Why why do you want this?
Yeah, I don't know if that makes me because I don't. I don't like Obito, so I don't. But I don't love Madara. I don't like Obito that much. Yeah, the whole war arc just isn't for me. Isn't necessarily for me because I'm not gonna act like Kage is my favorite either.
Yeah. Yeah, none of the end villains are great now that I think about it. I like Toby the best out of all of them.
I mean, I like not Obito, Toby specifically.
Yeah. He's more fun.
Yeah, and like I said, Kage is not my favorite either. Unless me saying it means I can take her to dinner. But besides that, I'm not. Yeah, look, badass fighter. Yeah, amazing voice in both versions. Actually, yes. But he's too ridiculous. He's too ridiculous at times for me to fully take seriously.
Yeah. So, all right, we ready to close out?
I hope so, man. I'm surprised this channel is still a thing after saying all this stuff. But
We'll see if it lasts.
yeah, ladies, gentlemen, giant clams. What are some Naruto hot takes that you guys have? They don't all have to be negative. You can share some appreciation for another character, as long as it's not a Sakura one. Because I feel like I don't have more to say about Sakura. I'm sorry.
Yeah, as I said, that's kind of why we have this honorable mention. We've discussed Sakura before.
Yeah, but just let us know, and please be civil in the comments. I'm actively begging you, please. But just let us know. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check out any other videos we've done. We'll see you next time. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you have been listening to Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.